Alright, Lisingle thought they were clever dropping this in the middle of the Halloween thing we got going on over on NA. Don't think that the top Morgan simp was gonna miss out on a raid up also featuring Castoria. Dude, JP is absolutely eating right now, and I'm just saying, if this is the bait they're throwing out before Ordeal Call 2, these units better be absolutely spicy or dummy broken, because this is a pretty tempting banner. They also put on some pretty good CEs over here that if you do want to potentially go and summon on this banner, they ain't bad to pick up. Like, this is a very enticing banner that they are throwing up here for like, what, 10 days about? So we're going to talk about it in today's video and whether or not these guys are still worth rolling for if you are playing JP. And I guess if you're an NA player in 2 years, you can look forward to like, what, the 4th Morgan raid up over here? And I guess, what, the 3rd or 4th Castoria raid up by this point. So yeah, before we begin, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I do upload FGO content every single day, so, you know, make sure you do all that. But anyway, I don't want to talk about liking and subscribing. I want to talk about these units because Artoria Caster, right? Castoria, Caltria, whatever you want to call her. This is probably still the best unit in the game, in my opinion. So, you know, if you're playing JP and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to summon for Dragon Dude that's coming out for Ordeal Call 2, or maybe some hidden, you know, nice wifey unit that they might toss our way. I don't know. It might be better to just summon for this Castoria if you don't have her, because what doesn't she do? Give 50% to one person? Check. Give 60% to the entire party with this insane charisma that is, you know, still nutty to this day. Can't believe they just put this on a unit, right? She does that. Provide you mad arts buffs with a really good damage mod and survivability. She does that. Has an NP that you don't even have to be running an arts team to use. You could just stick her in any team setup. I do like the Morgan stall strat sometimes where it's like, you know, Merlin plus Morgan plus Castoria. She's not really providing much to any, like, to Morgan with this, right? Like, because Morgan's already got like the 50% gauge. Merlin's giving her NP every single turn. You know, Castoria's throwing NP around, so she doesn't really need the arts buff. But this is insane, right? Morgan giving her extra overcharge effect, you know, gives you extra, you know, solemn defense over here, plus a fat attack buff. You're starting at 30% and going up to 50 with a full party debuff cleanse. Dude, this can turn your Merlin into DPS Merlin if you fire it enough times and you got all their charismas going on. Like, this unit is still unbelievable to this day. I think one of the only units that really comes close to really outvaluing Castoria is maybe Oberon, because you could do like double Oberon setups, and the level of damage you can do is absolutely absurd with that guy. Plus, he slots very well into, you know, double Castoria setups because it can use Black Grail. Slots very well into Buster setups, obviously, because, you know, they love big damage, right? They just love having him there. But this unit is crazy. Like, if you're sitting there being like, do I save for Ordeal Call 2 or do I summon for Castoria? If you don't have a premium support, I would probably tell you to just go all in on Castoria over here, especially because we do have the free 4-star ticket that if you're like, man, I'll have Castoria, but no good looper. There are plenty of options that I broke down in a video a couple of days ago on which 4-star options you could pick that are actually really good with Castoria. Like, it's a very good time to try to pick her up. And look, if the Ordeal Call 2 servants end up being better than Castoria, for one, you know, I'm prepared to eat my words on that if they really want to get that crazy. But two, that is a level of power creep I don't think we're ready for FGO. Do you know how insane the unit would have to be from the power creep this lady right here? It would have to be unbelievably insane. Now, if you don't want to go for the meta call and you want to go for the waifu call, you could go for Morgan. Now, as someone who has made the wise business venture of investing in an NP5 Morgan, let me warn you that even at NP5, she still may or may not hit like a wet blanket, as long as you're not getting these power mods. Now, she does have 3, because she can hit Round Table or Fate and Man Attribute, right? So she can hit any one of these 3, right? Sometimes she can double up, although I think there's no Man Attribute phase, but there are some Man Attribute round tables. I think it's like Saber Altar or something along those lines. So you don't really get a lot of these in conjunction, but it is nice. It gives her a nice spread of people she can hit, right? Man Attribute does have normal enemies for farming as well. But again, if you're not finding these power mods, especially at NP1, because JP I play with NP1, NP I play with NP5, they both really struggle. But the NP1, it can be brutal sometimes if you are not finding those power mods. So just be advised, I am the A1, you know, #1 Morgan simp, right? Ain't nobody love Morgan more than me, but it's still gonna be a little bit rough, right? Like, you might want to consider some gold foes, some grails into your NP1 Morgan to maybe make it a little less rough, right? That's just kind of my warning. But if you don't want to use her as a farmer, you want to bring her to more challenging, more difficult content, you have pluses and minuses, right? She's really good in some of those stall setups because her NP gives everybody else overcharge, which is obviously very good. I can't even meme on the curse anymore because we won the Kiara run because of this curse over here, so can't even meme on that. She also gives nice little buffs to the entire party if you want to bring other pseudo DPSs or turn your Merlin and Castoria into a DPS by like lowering everybody's defense, giving them attack. That can be nice. This has some utility as well. Let's say you really need Castoria's NP. You can actually toss this over to her for some of those stall strats, and you know, that is very nice that it's at least targetable, and she really does need this. She needs the guts because, yeah, she's a berserker. She could definitely get melted pretty quickly, so, you know, definitely nice to have the guts as a little bit of a security blanket on her, plus the crits aren't half bad. Plus you can, if you want to use her as a looper, you can loop this skill back with your Koyanskayas, which is how I do some of my farming. I don't need it with the NP5 Morgan, but NP1 Morgan, being able to loop this skill and get the crit and the other stars as well might be nice if you need your face card. So do keep that one in mind. Now, there are some actual decent CEs on Raid Up that I wanted to talk about. This one, if you didn't manage to pick up Black Grail during 7th anniversary, might not be all that bad for your art setups, because you're getting a little bit of an extra arts bonus, you're getting a little bit of extra NP gain, and the overcharge might be nice if you, say, have a servant that gives themselves like a 20% arts buff on their overcharge, for instance, but then at overcharge 2, it's 40%, right? That also gives you technically more damage, right, for the rest of your farming node, or for the rest of your battle if you're going to be doing that, right? So this can be useful. So can Apex over here, aside from it, you know, having, you know, the more Gussie on it, right? And we love to see that. It's also just nice. Synergizes, ironically enough, pretty well with Morgan herself, being a 50% starting charge CE that also gives you Buster performance. Obviously, there are better CEs to use. I mean, if you've been playing since the current Halloween rerun we have on NA right now, and you picked up Aerial Drive, or you unlocked it in the shop, as it is and now available in the Da Vinci shop, I believe. If you picked it up from there, you could probably just use that and see way more success, but it's not too bad. You could also find your other, say, Buster looping units that maybe give themselves like NP damage, attack, a power mod, or anything they can really stack on their overcharge to kind of help them a little bit with their damage, right? It's not all that bad. Plus, this helps that it is an attack CE. This one hurts a little bit because it's not an attack CE, it's a split, which is a little bit annoying, but this one can help you out a little bit. If you do just need a CE, I suppose, it can have some nice little niche applications. Look, you could slap this on your Castoria like this one, get the extra solemn defenses. Look, that's the synergy, right? You use this on Castoria, you use this on Morgan to get the extra manpower mod down here. I don't know, they're not too bad, but I don't know if you're going to be using them over any other CEs you should have if you've been playing for, I don't know, maybe a year, if not longer. But this is definitely a very tempting banner. Again, huge Morgan simp, but I would probably advise you to go for Castoria over Morgan if you do not have, well, Castoria. Even if you have Koyanskaya, even if you have, sorry, try not to laugh, if you have Scotty, because, look, I don't respect quick looping as much as I respect arts looping, all right? Arts is still #1 for me, baby, but she's still very strong. Even outside of being able to arts farm, just her utility in challenge quests, boss fights, all that good stuff, she's just too good. She has applications and 90++ content. There's pretty much nowhere that she's not going to be good. They might have to design a specific quest for her to be bad, right? They gotta like new to your NP gain, and you're not allowed to buff yourself with solemn defense or any defensive buff specifically. They take no arts damage. And then even then, I'm sure somebody would find a way to break Castoria into that boss fight and make her good, right? She's just that versatile. So let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be summoning on this banner. Me, I don't have to, because I already have both of these guys over on JP, and I'm very thankful because I want to see what they put out for Ordeal Call 2, but I would just say there's a very, very low chance that whoever they release for Ordeal Call 2 is going to be as good as Castoria. Now, being better than Morgan, that's pretty possible. I mean, they dropped Kukulkan like earlier this year, and I think, as much as I love Morgan, I think Kukulkan kind of takes a big fat dump over Morgan in terms of gameplay. Like, they just gave Kukulkan everything, right? But you know, even if she's not the best, Morgussie will always be #1 to me. But let me know all that in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.